The shooting began around 10:13 this morning when authorities received a call about an active shooter at the school. 5 Metro Nashville police officers heroically entered the building. They ran toward the sound of gunfire. It was coming from the second floor, and they engaged in a shootout with Hale, who Chief Drake says had multiple rounds of ammo and was prepared for a prolonged conflict with law enforcement. Officers quickly taking that shooter down.
Officers entered the first story of the school, began clearing it. They heard shots coming from the second level. They immediately went to the gunfire. When the officers got to the second level, they saw a shooter, a female, who was firing. The officers engaged her. She was fatally shot by responding police officers.
Those officers certainly saved lives, and we're going to have a detailed timeline and more on the heroic actions of those officers coming up later in the show. But right now, we want to get to Alex Apple. His mother actually worked at the Covenant School for over 20 years, and she was at the school today by a stroke of fate. Thank God she escaped unharmed. Alex, welcome to the show. We really appreciate you coming on tonight. I can't imagine what this day was like for you. I'm just thinking about my mom, and if something was happening where she works, I would be freaking out. How are you doing? How's your mom doing?
I'll tell you what hits me is my mom called first my father, and so what had happened for her was my mom's part of her role is to let people into the school. She sits at this desk that's sort of at the intersection of multiple hallways. She can see the door. Fortunately, I guess by the grace of God, my mom had gone on a quick errand, was coming back to the school, heard the gunshots, fled from there, and was really quickly able to tell us that she was okay. And I'll tell you, I just can't imagine what it's like for the families that have a prolonged wait in these circumstances, because when you're a teacher, your phone's not always in your pocket. It might be in the hallway. It might be in a bag somewhere. It might be elsewhere in the classroom. And if you have to flee, well, you don't have your phone, and then you have no way to contact your loved ones. So in that scheme of things, we were very lucky. And my mom was able to get out okay, but she's worked at Covenant for 20 years. And this is a community that she loves, that our family loves. And I've told this story a couple of times today. If you want to know what kind of community this is, there's a custodian that works at the school. This goes up to 6th grade, so they have a 6th grade graduation. The custodian has the voice of an angel. Well, at 6th grade graduation, he sings the Lord's Prayer. My wife, who works in television, did a story for the local news affiliate that she works for last year about it. And, it's the kind of community where, why not? Why wouldn't the custodian who has the voice of an angel sing at 6th grade graduation? He loves those kids. They love him back. And my mom does graduation for the school, so we go every year as a family. It's just a beautiful expression of kindness and love. And for this community to have been targeting, just it breaks our heart. I'm rarely speechless, but some days there's no words to cleverly sum up what's happened.
Yeah, it is heartbreaking when you think about those little kids. The fact that we're talking about like elementary school 9-year-olds whose lives were taken, and you think about just the lives that they had in that school. You mentioned all the little anecdotes about what went on there, and the little school performances, and the custodian, and your mom dealing with the kids every day, and to just think of what they must be going through tonight and how they're trying to process what happened in their school. Did your mom know? I'm assuming she did, because it seems like a relatively small school, and it seems like your mom's the type who probably knew everyone. But did she know the victims, the 9-year-olds?
Oh, yes, very well. And the head of school is one of the deceased. At that same graduation, we were joking with Mike Hill, who is one of the deceased, and what a kind man. My mom thought the world of him. And then Cynthia Peak was just a volunteer, there to sub. My mom let her in the door this morning and saw her to the classroom, didn't speak to her, but an hour and a half later, look what's happened. And I think it's just, I think in having watched my mom go through what she's gone through today, she's probably just in shock. How do you process such a thing? Because it happened so quickly. To say goodbye to the head of school, I'm going on an errand, and 10 minutes later you come back and she's no longer with us. And I just think about that community and wonder how many times in different communities in our country, and now having been so keenly exposed to this, sort of look into the abyss of what happens before it takes a part of you. And it's taken a part of this community. It's a small, loving, kind, gentle community. But will it ever be the same? I'm certain it won't. And I think that's what hurts my heart the most.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.